Hey babies, welcome to Mallorca. Now, it may not look it, but this car is pretty revolutionary. For years, we have been saying that electric cars should cost the same as their petrol counterpart, and today is that day. This is the Vauxhall Frontera, and yes, it costs exactly the same electric as it does as a petrol hybrid. Finally, so it starts at 23,495, or this version here is the top spec GS version, so it's £25,895. Marvellous! But is it cheerful as well as cheap? Let's find out. So, the Frontera might be priced below most electric city cars, but it's actually quite a big car. It replaces the Crossland in the company's lineup, so that sits between the Mokka and the brand new Grandland. So, the Frontera is 4,380mm long, to be very, very specific, which is almost identical to an Astra. The Vauxhall visor. This is obviously the new face of Vauxhall and is front all of their cars now, and I quite like the fact that the badge is the same colour as the actual visor, so it's not too in your face. You know, like in the new Grandland, it's all lit up. Now this is a huge car. I mean, it's not huge as in terms of length, but the boxy styling makes it massive inside, and I can't wait to show you. But you do also get, by the way, optional roof rails, which of course go atop the roof. That can hold 240 kilograms of weight. But here's the thing, most cars are limited to like 75 kilos, so that makes a massive difference. Obviously, yes, it will affect your range, but if you need to, you can. On the back, we have a massive boot. We have 460 litres of space. Look at that, big old boxy beauty. And the boot floor, you can also kind of move, which I'm not very gracious at doing this. See? Look at that! Loads of space! And then you fold the rear seats down, you've got 1,600 litres of space. You can put like a house in there. Just live in there if you want to. Also, if you do go for the hybrid, you can get 7 seats as an option. Yeah, you can. So you can get 2 extra seats back here. You can't get that in the EV, annoyingly, because there's like battery bits going on underneath here, so then you just have no headroom. So, it's a bit of a shame. Oh, by the way, just in case you were wondering, no, it doesn't have a frunk. So if you need somewhere to pop your cables, put it under the boot floor. In the interior, they have gone for a detox. So basically giving you everything that you want, but no more than what you need, if that makes sense. It's simple. So you've got the pure panel here, which is basically 2 10-inch screens. That has your driver information. That has all of your infotainment, etc. That has wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Can I just take a moment to acknowledge the sat-nav guy? Because he's brilliant. And this may well be the first sat-nav I think I've ever used within the car that tells you the junction on the motorway. He tells you. Like, say you're getting on the M25, for instance, he'll say,
"You need to get off at junction 24.
And I was like, that has never happened. Normally it's just take the next junction. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, but there we go. I also need to acknowledge that every time you turn on the car, the volume comes on pretty much full blast. I've turned it all the way down every time, turn the car off, turn the car on, and the volume comes back on again really loud. So just brace yourself if you're getting in the car very early in the morning. Now, this steering wheel, very similar to what it's like in the Grandland and in the Corsa. I think it's slightly too big for the car. If it could be just slightly slimmer, that would be great, because it does block some of that screen there, which does become a little bit irritating if you're trying to see the time to your destination, etc. You have climate controls with buttons down here, lovely. You also have some more buttons down here. Now, one of them, if you press it and hold it for 5 seconds, it switches off certain ADAS support systems, a bit like when it reads the speed limit of each road. If you hold it down for 5 seconds, it should turn off if it's gonna do it. Has it done it? It's flashing down here. I'm assuming it's done it. We'll find out when we go for a drive in a minute. You also have Intelli seats. Now, these seats have been particularly designed to look after your back and your bum. So there's like a gap basically right down the middle. So it doesn't sit on your tailbone when you're sitting down. It rests the lower spine, and it's more cushy for your tushy. So when you're on long journeys and stuff, it's way more comfortable. Storage, fairly decent as well. I mean, you've got a little bit of storage in there. You've got a bit of stuff in there. You've got these stretchy bits here. which means that you can put in your big water bottles and everything will fit. You've also got wireless charging, which is cooled, by the way, because everyone knows that your phone overheats every time you try and wirelessly charge. You've also got a fancy little shelf there for your snacks and your things. The rear seats is where this car really, really shines though. So let me show you. That is set up for my driving position. I am 5'6.5" and I can do this. Honestly, you don't really get to do that often in cars like this. There is so much space back here. I've got tons of legroom, plus little pocket for your phone. You only get that in the GS version, by the way, but little pocket for your phone. You don't get anything to pull down here in terms of cup. Are there any cup holders? You can maybe get a cup in there. Tiny though. Got a couple of little USB-C charge ports down there. Isofix points, you've just got 2 because it's technically a 4-seater, if you will, although there is an extra belt, but that's not really a seat, is it? Oh, and look. Oh, adorable. It was the cutest window I ever did see. Right, come on then, team. Let's go driving. This is beautiful up here. Right, first thing I need to point out to you while driving this is not the most powerful vehicle ever. It's really not. This is a leisurely SUV, if you will. So you've only got about 113 horsepower. That's it. It will do 0 to 62 in like 12.1 seconds. I can tell you, it is quite sprightly, up to 50 miles an hour. And then as you get a little bit higher than that, you can feel it struggling to keep up. And well, let's just say if you've got 5 people on board and stuff in the boot and stuff on your roof, it's going to feel even slower. But it feels nippy, I think, because it's actually quite a light car. It's only just over 1.5 tons, which for a big sort of SUV style EV is not bad at all. It's not bad. I also want to point out on the motorways as well. Oh, it's bumpy along here. I was going to say on the motorways, it gets quite noisy because of the wind, but also noisy on potholes, as you've just figured out. That's quite loud, isn't it? This car is definitely going to be used for like family commuting, isn't it? It's going to be used for school runs, that kind of thing. Bimbling around town. Is that a word? Bimbling? We're going for it. We're going bimbling. This is a bimbling kind of car. I mean, range-wise, you've only got 186 miles, but you're not going to do much more in this. This is going to be just a commuting car, a school run car, a Tesco run car. So you don't really need much more than that. Efficiency-wise, okay. You'll get around 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour, but it's taking corners pretty well, you know. It's all right. I feel like I can't knock this car. For the price, this is pretty good. You've got a 44 kilowatt hour usable battery. Charging wise, you've got 100 kilowatt fast charging. Brilliant. You don't need much more than that. It's comfortable. Oh, there's goats. There's goats. There's goats. They're not included with the car, by the way. They're not an option. Regen braking is also very, very simple in this car. So unlike other Stellantis cars, which has the B button, this has the C button, which stands for comfort. So basically, as soon as you turn the car on, which you use a physical key for, by the way, old school, as soon as you turn the car on, it's basically in B mode all the time. But if you don't want to use that, then you press C, and then you won't get any regen braking at all. But I like it when it's on. You get a little bit of feedback, bit of power going back into the battery, which is always nice. Now I'm driving, I want to try that button again. See if it actually does it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's done it. Does work. Oh dear, right. Now also in the presentation that we sat through before we jumped in the car, they brought up the steering. Very, very proud of their steering. And do you know what? They're not wrong. I feel like I can throw it around this corner and it's got really good response. It really does. Like the steering's not that light at all. There is a little bit of weight behind it and I do feel completely connected to the car. which is really nice. And do you know what? Dare I say it? Quite rare in modern cars at the moment. Like, I'll go out and I'll drive a new EV and the steering is so light because it's a city car, or it's just a small family SUV, or it's a family SUV like this is, and you just don't feel connected to the car whatsoever. But I do in here. I feel connected to the steering wheel, I feel connected to the wheels, connected to the ground, and there's grip, and there's hardly any body roll because the battery's on the floor. And it's taking the corners pretty well. Strong chuckability. Saying it. But the question is this the GOAT? Let us know in the comment section below. Oh, thank you very much. Before I summarise, I just want to point out one more thing to you. Look at that. Look how wide that opens. I mean, I don't even have kids, but I know that if you've got child seats and stuff and toddlers and babies and all that kind of thing, you need the rear doors to open up wide. I know Nikki Shields would be very happy with that. So there we go, the Vauxhall Frontera. I mean, if you were expecting wheel spins and flames and supercars, you have come to the wrong video, my friend. This is what is called an affordable EV. That is the same price as the petrol version. Oh! I can't believe it's actually taken this long to get to this point, because you know how important this is. This basically means it's now just down to you. Whatever works for you, not down to the price of the car. If fuel is best for you, fine. If EV is better for you because you can charge at home, great. Then you can just choose between the two and not choose between the price. That's brilliant. And I mean, in the long run as well, if you're charging at home, this will end up being way cheaper. Oh, it's brilliant. Well done, Vauxhall. Subscribe and that, and I'll see you next time.